Hi everyone, today I'm going to tell you about line quality and how to improve it in your drawings. So why the line quality is important? Line is a basic form of expression in drawing. Draw it with confidence, it will surely be visible in your sketches. Messy and hairy lines from many smaller ones usually show that the artist isn't sure about their decisions. But even smooth and confident lines show the artist's skills and advancement. What can you do to improve them? Practice your hand. Here are some simple exercises that will help you practice your hand. You can use them as daily exercises or just do them before drawing to warm up your hand. Practice with arm and elbow. This is something I don't do very often, but I know it's super important, and I did draw this way in the past in art school when we drew with charcoal on large formats. This way your hand can move freely on all surfaces without losing too much precision. In order to draw this way, you don't need to hold your pencil as a pen. You can, and even should, hold it higher and more gently. You also should lead the strokes a bit faster. Use your wrist to draw more precise lines. Another exercise is to draw straight lines. You can draw two dots and try to connect them with each other. Use just one smooth movement. We often practice this way when I studied design and we drew concept sketches of products. It's a great warm-up exercise before actual drawing. Do it as many times as you need and as often as you need. Straight lines will be most important in geometrical architectural drawings, but also in drawing in general. Another way of exercise your hand is to draw circles. Uneven, deformed circles and spheres are very visible to the human eye. Especially if they are in the company of other, quite realistically drawn elements. So try to draw even circles and ovals. Also, as many as you wish. This exercise will be helpful in many situations. In portrait art, they are essential when you're drawing eyes, irises, and pupils. Another exercise is to draw with varied pressure. I love lines that have variations, thicker in some places and thinner in others. So practice creating lines that will have a different thickness along their length. Such lines are useful in practically every drawing. The simplest example that comes to my mind are eyelashes. Eyelashes are thicker where they grow from the eyelid, and they gradually disappear at the endings. Another way is to exercise with permanent media. Pencil is awesome, but when you want to practice line quality, try to do it with media you won't be able to erase. This way you'll have to be more careful with your decisions and learn to draw more committed lines. With pencil, you would be able to do many searching lines, right? Like this. And then decide about final line with maybe higher pressure. But with pen like this, you need to know what you're doing. You need to mentally prepare, I don't know. You need to mentally plan the line on your drawing and then draw it. I know it might be scary, but it really helps. I often challenge myself this way in my sketchbook. As you can see, they're not perfect, but they have their charm. With pencil, we often feel too much freedom and draw so many searching lines to decide which one we like the most. But here, you just need to decide to not create too many messy lines. Another way is to study the line quality of the great artists. Collect quick sketches and studies of the artists you admire and try to copy them. Just for learning purposes, of course. I think it's more pleasant exercise than just lines and circles. So I like to open my favorite books or the catalog with my favorite inspirations and have them next to the reference when I draw. To just look at them and try to extract their lines and use them in my art. You can just copy the sketches in your sketchbook and fill them with your hand. It's much simpler than studying from the photo reference because these sketches are already synthesized by the artist, so you can see and feel and understand how they make their decisions. For example, you can see that the line here is very thin, it becomes stronger here, and how it moves, where are the cross contour lines, for example, and then you can use the same rules in your sketches. Exercises are something that will help you after a while, but what you can do now to improve the quality of lines in your drawings? Make sure that your pencil is sharp. By sharpening your pencil with a knife, you'll be able to create both wide lines and very thin ones. To create very thin lines, you can also use mechanical pencil, but they will be very similar to each other. So for a wider range of thickness, you might want to prefer the regular pencil. Another thing you can do is to use smooth paper and hard pencil. I know it isn't the most pleasant tool to draw with, especially at the beginning, but hard pencil like HB will help you to create very light searching lines, and the very smooth paper like Bristol here will allow you to erase them much easier. Textured paper makes your pencil move on its surface, so it's more difficult to achieve precision. It also works a little bit like a sandpaper, so the graphite crumbles, makes much darker lines, and it's something super difficult or even impossible to erase later. So use the smooth paper and hard pencil. When you finish the searching stage, you can use a softer pencil like 2B, or even softer if you want, to create final lines of your drawing. Then you can gently erase searching lines and have much cleaner drawing. As you can see, the lines made with HB pencil are almost invisible now. Another tip is to choose what's important to you. Not everything has the same importance in your drawing. You probably want to focus the attention on the focal point. I like to focus on the expression of the face or on the eyes. So adjust the pressure to create darker and thicker lines when you want to show something important. It's okay if you can't decide yet. You can follow the darkest value on the reference. I like to divide drawing into 3 parts: the darkest values, midtones, and the lightest parts. This way the drawing is more organized in terms of the values, but also information. When I draw very dark, detailed lines in the eyes and very light, almost invisible hair, there's no doubt on what I want to focus the attention of the viewer. So try to think about it when you draw and decide which lines deserve the most attention. The last thing I want to share with you today is to use only necessary lines. I know it's difficult to decide, but it's very important to notice. I often say that closing all the contours makes the drawing less realistic and more like a coloring book. I want to show you the example of less is more. It's pretty obvious for most of us that when we draw noses, we don't close all the contours. We understand that the nose is connected here to the face, to the cheek, so we don't divide them by a line here. When drawing lips, on the other hand, we tend to think that they are in particular closed shape. But they are even more connected to the face than a pointed nose. So instead of closing them in the contour, try to limit the amount of the lines to the darkest values you want to show. As you can see, you can just show the lips with basically 3 horizontal lines. You could just draw this line if you want. You can of course add a bit blending here, or a lot if your model has a dark lipstick, but basically these 3 lines show enough information. So try to limit your lines, the amount of your lines, and decide if you need each of them. Okay, so to sum up everything, practice your hand, practice with your arm and elbow, exercise drawing straight lines, exercise drawing circles and other shapes that you might need, practice with varied pressure, exercise with permanent media like pen and ink, study the line quality of the artists that you admire, make sure that you have proper tools, choose what's important to you, and remember that often less is more. I hope that those tips will help you. Let me know what you think and see you in my next video. Bye!